What's happening, people? Welcome to JP Boxing, the place where we're discussing all things boxing all day, every day. If it takes place in the boxing world, JP will be talking about it right here, right now, as and when it happens. And listen, I know still right now everybody's fully talking about and fully engulfed in the absolute craziness that was Anthony Joshua versus Daniel Dubois, the aftermath of that, everything that's going to lead on to now in the heavyweight division. But I've already spoke about that. I've got a 25-minute long video about the fight because I was actually at Wembley Stadium for that, so talking about what it was like to be there for that main event too. I've done a few other videos on the winner of the fight, Daniel Dubois, and where he should go next, Anthony Joshua, and what happens next for him. So yeah, if you want to go check all that out and see my opinion and my take and my reaction to all of that, then go check that out after watching this video though. Because let's not forget, guys, there was also a brilliant undercard that took place at Wembley Stadium too. And a lot of those undercard fights, I said going into it, not all of them fully lived up, but a lot of them did. But all of them could have been main events really on smaller shows taking place in Britain. So obviously I know everybody's going to want to be talking about Joshua versus Dubois right now. But I thought I was also in Wembley Stadium for 5 really good fights on the undercard. So I've got to do a post-fight report and post-fight reaction for all these fights too. I'll go through each fight, let you know what happened, talk about the winner and the loser, what happens next, who was the standouts of the night watching from in the crowd at Wembley Stadium, because it probably looked completely different on TV as it did in the stadium. You can probably hear by my voice already. It was pretty loud in there the whole night, so my voice is still, this is only 2 days later now, my voice is still very croaky, very husky, so apologies if I have to keep coughing here and there, because there was a lot of shouting going on Saturday night, mainly for the main event, of course. I said in my post-fight reaction for AJ versus Dubois, you literally had to shout at the top of your voice just to speak to the person next to you. So yeah, my voice is very, very strained, but I'd say it was getting... I turned up at 5 p.m, so I did miss Chamberlain versus Padley. You could say the biggest, most shocking upset of the night. I know Dubois, Joshua is massively shocking, but the betting odds for Chamberlain versus Padley were much, much wider. But I did actually miss that fight. That fight was on very early at 4 p.m. I was still on the tube coming in at that stage, but I have caught up with it now on YouTube. But yeah, let's start off. Let's start with that one, the first fight of the night. As I just said there, I'm sure you know by now if you have gone and checked everything out afterwards, or maybe you haven't, this is your first time hearing about it. But Mark Chamberlain went into that fight as the big favourite. He went in there as Turki Al-Sheikh's favourite fighter. He's been very highly rated in his last few fights. Looks pretty much unstoppable in his last few fights, getting early knockout after early knockout. Josh Padley comes in as a guy who even at the weigh-in himself said, I'm just happy to be here, man. Just kind of giving the vibe that he was there just to make up the numbers. But fucking hell, did he con us all? Did he have us all on? Because he got in there and he put some serious hands and some serious work on Mark Chamberlain, who just couldn't handle the pace and couldn't handle the heat. And even the boxing skills, the in and out, footwork ability and fast punching of Josh Padley at times. Chamberlain got a point deducted, he got dropped, I think it was in the 9th round, if I remember correctly, with an absolutely brilliant left hook, and Chamberlain was meant to be the guy that was doing the dropping. He was meant to be the guy with the power in this fight. But yeah, Padley just tore up the script, man. Looking at Mark Chamberlain, and I don't know what I did say, if you go and check out my prediction video for the undercard fights here, I did say Mark Chamberlain turned up very heavy, very overweight 2 months out from this fight. When it first got announced, he turned up with new teeth. The money from Uncle Turkey, he's actually used to go over to Turkey by the looks of it and get his teeth sorted and getting veneers and that put in. And it just seemed like he was really over enjoying the money and everything that comes with that, of being a bit of a star now. Unexpectedly, that's the thing with Mark Chamberlain. I said this in the prediction video as well, not to keep repeating myself, but just in case you haven't seen that. Mark Chamberlain was kind of just plucked out of nowhere by Turki Al-Sheikh and just given a load of money, and it's probably been a bit of a shock to him, a bit hard for him to handle. Whereas if you're a guy that's training from when you're younger, you know you're going to be a superstar, like the likes of Tyson Fury and someone like that, or Anthony Joshua, It did happen quite quick for Anthony Joshua, but he kind of started his career and turned pro knowing that he could be a superstar. It was already lined up for him. You mentally prepare yourself for the money, whereas Mark Chamberlain was just a bit of a solid pro. Probably thought he'd never earn £1 million from his career, but definitely not anytime soon. And then suddenly he's just earning big money fight after fight. It can hit you hard and it can be hard to handle outside of the ring. I'm not saying that's the only reason Josh Padley got the win, but maybe just Mark Chamberlain isn't really feeling the hunger quite as much now he's made the big bucks already. And a hungry fighter is the most dangerous fighter when you get in the ring. And Josh Padley was much more hungry to prove himself getting in there. Even just before the fight as well, when I did my prediction video a week before the fight, this was lined up as a fight at lightweight, which both of these guys fight at. And then it was changed to super lightweight or light welterweight, whatever you want to call it. So 5 pounds heavier. A few days out from the fight, I'm pretty sure that will be Mark Chamberlain and his team's doing, with him being the A side. So I don't know what happened there. Maybe he struggled to make the weight too. But I'm not just saying this was Mark Chamberlain being bad. I do think he underperformed, but Josh Padley fucking overperformed and put in a brilliant performance there. And yeah, that set the tone for a brilliant night of boxing, a good action-packed fight, back and forth with Josh Padley clearly being a deserving winner, getting a unanimous decision. Next up was Mr. Pretty Boy Josh Kelly. This is the fight I got into the arena for. I got in there at about 5 p.m. This came on just after that, and action and the heat continued. I think people wanted to be in there for Josh Kelly because as I got in there was loads of other people turning up too. But you could say in a 96,000 stadium, whenever you're turning up, there's going to be loads of people turning up at the same time. But it definitely filled up a little bit more as Josh Kelly got into the ring. And did he put in a performance that stole the show? I wouldn't say it stole the show, but I'd say it was a very good fight. I actually picked Ishmael Davis to get the win over Josh Kelly. I just thought him coming in at short notice, this being a big move up in weight for Josh Kelly. I know Davis was also coming from the weight below, but he's a much more naturally bigger, stronger fighter. I thought Davis might just be a bit too much for him down the stretch. But to be fair to Kelly, he boxed very well early on. Davis tried to put the pressure on, but I don't think he threw anywhere near enough punches to trouble Josh Kelly. If you stand off for Josh Kelly, he's going to make you look silly, which he did at times to Ishmael Davis. As good of a fighter as Ishmael Davis is, Josh Kelly can make very good fighters look silly if they stand off of him. And Davis, he was putting pressure on with his feet, but he wasn't throwing his hands anywhere near enough to trouble Josh Kelly in the early rounds. But then as we moved a bit later in the fight, Kelly's feet, as expected, started slowing down a bit. Davis started throwing a bit more, fricking out the shots a bit faster. Or maybe just Kelly's reactions were slowing down a bit, so it looked like Davis was fast because he was landing on him now. But I don't think he closed the gap enough. He did actually have Kelly in big trouble in the 12th round. I don't think Kelly even threw a punch in the 12th round. He just kept running and running around the ring. And Davis, I wouldn't say he was close to stopping him, but he was really like putting it on Josh Kelly and tiring him out. But the final bell rings, Kelly gets through. I think it was clear he was going to win on the cards. It was actually a majority decision. A lot of these undercard fights, obviously because I was with loads of people, sorry, there's my voice going. My voice is going because I was chatting shit to these people all night. So obviously I was watching the fights, I was invested in the fights of course, but when you're talking to the person next to you, you're not knowing whether to watch it on a big screen or in the ring. I didn't score any of these undercard fights except for Barazzi versus Hutchison because that was the one I was really interested in and I knew that could be a tight one on the scorecard, so I scored that one. But getting the feel for Josh Kelly versus Ishmael Davis, I would have said Kelly by about an 8-4 or something like that. It was a little bit closer. One of the judges had it a draw. Another one had it by 2 and another one had it by 1. But I think most people feel that Josh Kelly deserved the win in this one. Majority decision. He gets it. He moves on. Where do I want to see Josh Kelly go next? Well, up at middleweight, I don't think he's got world level potential, to be honest. I don't know if he took this fight up at middleweight because it was just offered with Liam Smith and whether he naturally feels better at 154. I don't think he does anything at middleweight, if I'm honest. I think like the likes of like Hamza Sheeraz and people like that would absolutely smash him. If he goes down to 154, the British scene, he could become the top of the British scene. But even world level there, like fucking hell, you got Crawford there, Sebastian Fundora, people like that. I can't see Kelly getting to world level now, if I'm honest. How old is he now? Early 30s, isn't he? I think he's like 32, 33. He should be in his prime and at his best right now. And Ishmael Davis, as good as he is at British level, is not a world beater. And Kelly was in like a quite evenly matched fight with him in there at times. So yeah, for how much potential and excitement and hype Josh Kelly had turning pro, he was a bit like a Ben Whittaker, wasn't he, when he was starting out, the flashy one everyone wanted to see. But he's just really fell off, man. I don't think he's got mental toughness. He gets in there, he loves the scrap, but physically he just falls apart a little bit in the later stages of tough fights. And I think that'll be his undoing every time he steps up to world level, as what happened against David Avanesian down at welterweight a few years back. Israel Davis, he could come again. He's 29. This was his first big fight. He finished the fight strong. I'd like to see him in some more British scraps, either at 154 or 160. Yeah, just to be a good fighter on that British scene. Up next, I was going to say two more British guys, but they're all fucking British in here. Anthony Cacace. I always get this wrong though. He's Irish. I don't know if he's Northern Irish or Republic of Ireland, so apologies if he's Irish and I've just said British there. But I'll tell you what Anthony Cacace is. He's a fucking brilliant, tough, rugged fighter, man, and he outworked, outfought, outpowered Josh Warrington. Got a unanimous decision victory. This was another very good fight. I'm not going to say close, but I'll say competitive, because Warrington, even though being past it now and having a lot of miles on the clock and a lot of hard fights, still gave it everything he could. But as I said, Cacace was just sharper, faster, better, bigger, stronger, and Josh Warrington actually put his gloves in the middle of the ring after the fight, which usually symbolises that a guy's retiring. I don't see why he would have done that for any other reason. If he is retiring now, I say fair play to Josh Warrington. I always thought he was limited. I never really rated him as an elite boxer, Josh Warrington, but man, he was in some big, great war type fights over and over again. Beat Lee Selby when not many people gave him a chance. Beat Cole Frampton when not many people gave him a chance. Was probably the most informed British fighter at that stage. Obviously got in there with Mauricio Lara during COVID and that in the pandemic. Got absolutely pummeled and hasn't really been the same since. But I remember watching that Mauricio Lara fight thinking his career's done here. There's no way he's going to be able to get back to world level. So the fact that he still had more big fights and got some decent wins still after that, or the odd win here and after that, fair play to him, man, because a lot of people would have been done with boxing after that fight. He's probably done now. Fair, as I said, wish him a happy retirement, drift off into the sunset, go and fucking support leagues, be a hero of your town still. Anthony Cacace, I think he's actually older than Josh Warrington, but he's still coming, like he's really coming into form right now. He's not really had as many hard fights. I know he's got a mandatory with Sugar Nunes, if that was his name, if not a super featherweight. You have got the Joe Cordina rematch I really want to see. Obviously, you got the top guys. Like, oh no, that's sorry, Joe Cordina's gone up to lightweight now. I was about to say Shakur Stevenson there, but he's gone up to lightweight too. Super featherweight now, actually, then because of that, is a bit more open. Cacace could come through, get some unifications with the other champions. I don't think he's elite, Anthony Cacace, but I think he's a very good, solid fighter. There will be in some good fights. Now, on to the next one. Josh Buatsi versus Willie Hutchinson. If you subscribe to my channel, you'll know that I was super excited for this one. I was confident that Willie Hutchinson was going to get in there and outbox Joshua Buatsi. I just always thought Josh Buatsi was a bit overhyped. And I thought Willie Hutchinson... apologies, my voice is going again there. I was shouting a lot for this fight, let me tell you. I always thought Willie Hutchinson was very underrated. And looking at their recent form, I just thought Hutchinson might get in there and do a job at on Buatsi. But listen, guys, I'll hold my hands up. I was very wrong with this one. Willie Hutchinson did get in there and show us that he's got heart. He's a warrior. He kept pushing even after being dropped twice. But for me, Joshua Buatsi looked a level above him in there. I actually thought Hutchinson was the more skilled guy. But I'll be honest, when I'm wrong, I'll take that back now. Joshua Buatsi is the more skilled. He fought at a higher pace. He landed the bigger and better shots. It was a close competitive fight. Me watching it from all the way back at the arena, I had Buatsi by a couple points. Listening to everyone's opinion afterwards on the TV, watching it on the TV and stuff, they had Buatsi a little bit wider. One of the judges had Hutchinson winning. Even as a massive Hutchinson fan, I couldn't see that. He was rightly booed when that scorecard was read out. Where do they go next, these guys? Oh, a bit more about the fight. Hutchinson, I actually had Hutchinson with a decent lead in the early stages. He was out boxing Buatsi. I thought, yes, going to get my prediction right. Everyone was saying I was stupid. I'm going to prove them all wrong, man. But then Buatsi, to be fair, to him, proved me wrong. He made the adjustments, started pummeling Hutchinson's body. Hutchinson is a brilliant fighter defensively when he's moving his head. I remember my boxing coach used to tell me this even when I was younger. If you're in there with a guy who can move their head very well, then fucking hit the body. As Muhammad Ali said, because the head's got eyes, the body hasn't. You can't move your body like you can move your head and slip the shots and that. And then you slow the body down, which then eventually slows the head down. You chop that tree down. And really, Buatsi, some people might say, should have got Hutchinson out of there with the tiredness he was putting on him and making him feel at times. But then other people might say, why was Hutchinson just standing there and letting Buatsi pummel his body so much? It wasn't a perfect performance from either of these guys, but it was probably the best fight of both of their careers in terms of action. And that's what, as fans, we want to see action, don't we? Hutchinson, stick around in that light heavyweight scene around more British level, man. Lyndon Arthur, Dan Aziz, there's two very good fights that he can win there. You've got Ben Whittaker. Imagine Willie Hutchinson versus Ben Whittaker, the build-up, and that fight would be brilliant. It'd be a good stepping stone, climbing the rankings, sort of gatekeeper sort of fight for Ben Whittaker. But then I don't want to call Willie Hutchinson a gatekeeper because I keep forgetting the guy's only 26 years old. He's actually younger than Ben Whittaker. And even Buatsi said to Willie Hutchinson after the fight, he said in an interview afterwards, that he told Willie, like, you're better than I was at 26. Because obviously, was Buatsi now 33. Willie's got another 2 years before he even enters his prime. So, don't rule him off yet. He can still become world champion. He's definitely got potential. Just got to work on getting his hands up a little bit more and not letting his body get pummeled as much. Buatsi now, though, it's time to roll the dice. There's three fights I really want to see him in with. At the age of 33, you're coming towards the end of your prime now a bit. I know he hasn't had a lot of hard fights. He turned pro a bit later, ain't got a lot of miles on the clock. I think this was only his 19th fight of his career. But now, get that Anthony Yarde fight signed. That's a massive fight in the UK. I do believe now he could probably go on to win that one. And then you've got to roll the dice, go for the winner. Or the loser first, it better be Evan Bivol. Go for them top guys. Go for the world title. Go for the undisputed. It's time for Josh Buatsi now. That's enough British European level fights. Fucking go have a crack at that world level now, because fans, this fight was good and entertaining, but we're getting a bit bored of the same level all the time. So yeah, time for Buatsi to move on up to that top level. And same for a guy called Hamza Shiraz. Different situation because he's a lot younger. He's only 25 years old, but he got in there and absolutely obliterated Tyler Denny with only a few punches, really. Stopped him in the second round in the chief support here, the fight just before Joshua versus Dubois. Made a statement. It wasn't the biggest knockout though. It was like a couple clipping shots that caught Tyler Denny, but it shows you just how hard Shiraz hits, how explosive and thudding his power is, that he can just clip you on the top of the head. You don't really see the shot. Like, we even, as fans, didn't really see the shot from near the back of the stadium, but it still had Tyler Denny's brain scrambled completely. I think it was a bit of an early stoppage when the ref waved it off in the second, but maybe just because he was getting hit and knocked down so easy, the ref thought, I'll call it here before he gets absolutely, like, killer knocked out and, like, splattered across the canvas. But I feel like Denny deserved, being such a tough fighter. We know Tyler Denny, he's been hurt, he's been rocked before and he's came back. I think he should have been given a bit more of a chance, but I didn't see him causing Shiraz any problems coming into this fight. And then it was clear as soon as the fight started, Shiraz was on another level. Yeah, man, this was European level. Shiraz made it look so easy. I know he's only 25, but you might as well go for world level now. That middleweight scene is wide open. The champions, you got Carlos Adames, you got Yanni Beck. Can't remember who the other champion is. That's my bad, but it's not. They're the two main ones. It's no one spectacular. Oh, sorry, it's Erislandy Lara. That's 3 winnable fights for Hamza Shiraz right there. You have got Eubank Jr., who's fighting on the next Saudi show in October. That's a massive fight. Shiraz versus Eubank Jr., a massive fight in the UK, or a massive chief support fight on a Saudi Arabia sort of card. I would definitely go to watch that one. But yeah, Shiraz, I don't think he's as elite as some people are making out. Like, there were some people in the crowd here saying he should go up to 168 and fight Canelo and that already. I know a lot of people are heavy on him to be the next spectacular fighter from Britain. I do think there's other prospects I think are better than him. Not a middleweight, I mean just overall in Britain, like Moses Atoma, Ben Whittaker and ones like that. But he is definitely one of our best prospects, Hamza Shiraz. And at 6'3" at middleweight, he could become maybe a 2 or 3 weight world champion if he does live up to the hype, as some people are saying, and the potential. Yeah, I think that Eubank Jr. fight next, then go for world level, man. That's next for Shiraz. Denny, another one. He can drop down to the British scene, have a load of brilliant fights too. He's always entertaining. I'd always go and watch him whenever he's on TV and that. And I know a lot of fight fans, British fight fans, really do respect him. Maybe he's gained a few fans from around the world with his sort of down-to-earth humbleness in the build-up to this too. But yeah, guys shouldn't be down to earth is Mr. Hamza Shiraz, because that guy is going to go places. I do believe that, and very soon. So yeah, that's my undercard report for this fight, for this show. The main event, Joshua versus Dubois. You can go check out my post-fight reaction to that too. I only got 2 out of these. What was it? Sorry, let me count actually. I got out of the whole show, if you include Joshua versus Dubois, I got 2 predictions right out of 6. But you know what? I'm happy about that, man. Some people might say, it just means JP don't know fuck all about boxing. Or you might say it's good because if you turned up to a show and all 6 winners you picked were completely right, then what would be the point of going? Because we know exactly what's going to happen. I like it when I'm wrong. You've got to you got to have upsets in boxing, or it would be boring. I know I went for a couple of upsets and wrong with them ones too, but I'm a guy who likes to roll the dice and make some bold predictions sometimes. But yeah, if we was right all the time, it would be boring, man. Was it a good undercard? It didn't live up to the crazy hype I was expecting. I was expecting a lot more like action throughout, a couple better knockouts in there. But overall, if you look, Padley versus Chamberlain went the distance, good competitive fight. Kelly versus Davis went the distance, good competitive fight. Kakachi Warrington went the distance, competitive fight. Buatsi versus Hutchin was the fight of the night. That was a brilliant fight. Shiraz got the knockout, but it wasn't an explosive one. Overall, you got your money's worth there, just with the undercard. And then Joshua-Dubois, there's no fucking complaints with what happened with that entertainment-wise. You had Liam Gallagher performing, you had party songs all night, you had competitions, the fans, the atmosphere was unreal. One of the best boxing shows I've ever been to. Only Hay versus Chisora, I went to that one. That was up there for me. I have been to Foxgroves and ones like that too. But this was definitely one of, if not the best. Riyadh season, please come back to the UK because you're doing some brilliant stuff. Yeah, over to you guys. Who was your standout on the undercard? Who let you down? What was the fight of the night if you don't think it's Buatsi versus Hutchinson? And where do you want to see these guys go next? Your favourite fighters out of them. And as always, people, thank you for watching. If you like my videos, please like and subscribe. Thank you.